So I would like to ask everyone this evening to make sure that you have your audio on mute. If you're not talking or you're not asking the question at question time, we do have the chat available for those that are on Zoom. Please put your questions if you'd like into the chat, and I don't mind that you chat as well. So yeah, there's not a lot of opportunity for us to get together these days, and so we can do a little chatting in the chat. That's not a problem. So having passed the hour of 7 p.m., I would like to start this meeting off with a pledge to our flag. We do have our flag up right now. If you'd like to stand, if you'd like, and stretch. If you are in uniform, please you may salute. If you're not in uniform, please place your hand over your right hand over your heart and repeat the pledge with me. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. 2. Thank you very much. Let's go over quickly what we will be doing tonight. Our quick agenda here is our welcome. We're going to be looking at what's going to be happening in 2021. We'll be looking at our training dates. For those, we always need good trained leaders and those events and times. There are some special things coming up soon, including our Winter Tech Days and some merit badge opportunities for those Scouts BSA. We'll talk a little bit about our charter renewals. We've got some office and scout shop hours information, and there's some time for questions and answers at the end. As I mentioned, please mute your speaker or your audio so that we all can hear each other or hear what's going on. You can put your information in the chat if you'd like, and we'll be monitoring that. And we are recording this call. This is an adult leader call, and so we can record. For those of you that may not realize it or may not know, that if you are in a scout meeting that does have youth, it is not recommended, and we don't. You should not be recording those types of Zoom calls or any other kind of electronics. Okay, on to the next screen. Training. Okay, Amy McCarty is going to talk to us a little bit about our training that's coming up.
All right, good evening, everyone. Welcome to Roundtable. My name is Amy McCarty. I am the Vice Chair of Training for the Council, and I just wanted to make you guys aware of some upcoming training dates. You know, scouting is not dead. It's very active, and that means we need to keep up our training too. So first up in January, we have Scoutmaster specific training. That'll be on January 19th and the 21st. It's 2 weekdays, Tuesday and Thursday from 7 to 9. And at the same time, we'll be doing venturing specific training as well on those 2 dates. Then we'll have Cub Leader specific training on Saturday morning, February 13th from 8 o'clock to noon. And these are all virtual trainings. We're still, you know, aware and conscious of our social distancing guidelines. So these are planned to be virtual trainings. We have youth protection training on February 25th. That is also a weekday. And then on February 23rd, sorry, they're a little flip-flopped. February 23rd, we have merit badge counselor training from 6:30 to 8. And then for those of you who want to join our training team, and we strongly, strongly encourage you to reach out to us if you are interested in joining us. We can always use the extra help, the extra perspective. We'll be doing a training for future trainers. That's the EDGE training on March 9th and 11th. So please reach out to us if you are interested in joining the training team. We can always use some extra hands. One other thing I'd like to mention, all of these trainings are on our website. You can go there at longbeachbsa.org/training to get more information on those trainings. And just a little sneak peek preview, we are working towards hosting an NYLT training coming up this early summer. So stay tuned for that. We hope to have some more details in the near future. That's it for training. Back over to you, Eric.
Thank you very much, Amy. And make sure that you encourage your leaders to make sure that they are fully trained, both YPT and leader-specific training. Every scout deserves a trained leader. For those of you, many packs and troops often have a toy drive or do something charitable this season for people that are less fortunate than ourselves. And there's a lot of those out there this year. Since we can't do much of this in person, we do have the ability to have a toy drive. You can organize it either yourself as a family or as a unit, as a troop or pack, or even a den, through Long Beach Post, lbpost.com. They have several locations that are accepting unwrapped gifts at various locations. One is going to be near you. And you may be able to organize that internally or be able to just say, here's our location. We're going to be sponsoring these this location and this place and time, and drop off your toys there. So please encourage your units to do so. Next. We have some great events planned for 2021. It's the new normal. And so many of these will be virtual until we can get to a point where we can do this in person. Starting in January, there will be an event where you can hear about the Path to Eagle for those Scouts BSA that are looking towards that. And Matt Warner will be speaking to us a little bit about that a little bit later.
I'm here right now.
Also,
can I talk about it now?
We have a special slide. We have a special slide for you. Just a minute.
Okay.
Hold on. Similarly, the Path to Arrow of Light is also featured. We will have event and workshop on that. As we mentioned, the training on the 19th and 21st for venturing and Scoutmaster specific training. And then we got to talk about our Webelos, our West Fair. Our Webelos West Fair will be on January 30th, a series of activities for that to help transition those Cubs that are Webelos over to Scouts, Scout troops. February, Scout Sunday is the 6th and the 7th, Scout Sabbath and Scout Sunday. February, inaugural class of Female Eagles. There is a special national event where we will be recognizing those first Eagle Scouts from female Eagle Scouts. And then YPT training, youth protection training for those new leaders on February 23rd. Remember, some of those are expiring for you guys. March, Edge training, 9th and the 11th. And we're going to have this super event for all of our recognitions for this 2020, which Bob will be talking about in just a little bit. April, Spring Aquatics program will be kicking off the 5th through the 9th. Our Pinewood Derbies. We are offering virtual Pinewood Derbies to our packs this year, April 17th. So if you don't have the chance or the ability to do it in person, or you don't have a track, but we can still have those Cub Scouts make those Pinewood Derbies, and we can we will have a staff ready to run those virtually. Those winners from all the packs will be going to the Derby Championships on the 24th. In May, we're planning a Cub Wow. Well, what is a Cub Wow, guys? Well, Cub Wow is like a powwow where we all get together and we get some good training in, we get some good information all about Cub Scouting. That's May 1st. Then May 15th, we're going to have another Family Adventure Day, Part 2. Had a lot of fun this year. We're going to do it again in May. And then OA has their spring ordeal, I believe, the 21st and 22nd. That's our honor scouts. June, family camp in, June 12th. Reserve that date, and we'll have a whole program there for the whole families all the families to participate in that camp in. Don't know if we'll be able to do camp out at that point, but we'll definitely have a camp in. And then the 21st. Okay, Path to Eagle. Matt, this is your time to shine.
Thanks, Eric. I'm sorry I jumped in early there. We've been doing Eagle
I love your enthusiasm.
on Thursday nights. Well, we've been doing Eagle boards on Thursday night, and tonight we have 6 scouts in for their to earn Eagle Scout. So I'm going to hurry back to that. But before I do, we will have a Path to Eagle on the second Saturday of January 9th. Time to be determined, probably around 11 o'clock. This is about an hour to an hour and a half kind of question and answer period. We'll be going over the requirements for Eagle and talking about project ideas, and most of the time may be spent talking about projects, but it really is a chance for scouts and parents and leaders to ask questions about working on Eagle Scout rank. So like I said, scouts, leaders, parents are all invited to this, and just show up with your questions and I'll be happy to talk about it. There may be people in the room that can add to that conversation also. So it's a lot of information, a lot of fun. This year, we're also going to do a Path to Arrow of Light for the first time. It goes along the same lines, talking about, what you need to do to earn Arrow of Light and gear things towards, the COVID restrictions. And it is, more difficult to visit units or do activities with a troop, but we can work with that. And troops are meeting virtually. So going to a troop meeting is a possibility. And we can set you up with troops to visit if you like. And so join us again. Scouts, parents, leaders can all join us virtually for this Path to Arrow of Light also. And that will be held directly after the Path to Eagle. So again, times to be determined. Thank you very much.
Hey Matt, at what point is it appropriate or suggested that the scout start looking at the Path to Eagle? At what rank?
If they're a Star Scout, definitely a Life Scout, but a Star Scout also. Anyone can attend. It's first class and above, let's say, because we know scouts working on the other ranks are busy with those other ranks. But first class and above would be great.
Okay, very good.
Definitely. And the thing about advancement right now, COVID restrictions definitely hamper that a little bit, but we can work around it. So when you are working with your units and working with your scouts, I'm just saying we will make it work. If you have a problem, contact me or anyone on the advancement committee. Let's work this thing through and find an alternative way of completing that requirement. And National has offered lots of suggestions or eased up on requirements a little bit as far as, where they can be done and who can sign off and things like that. But as a Boy Scout leader, you should definitely be working with your troop committee and your advancement chair to decide how you are going to be able to sign scouts off and who can do that and keep it going. You want them to advance. You want them to work through their rank advancement during these tough times. And the same goes for Cub Scouts also. And if you have questions, feel free to contact me at any time.
Very good. I'm sure you're going to have some good ideas on Saturday, January 9th.
Oh, for sure. Thanks, Eric.
Thank you. Thank you, Matt. Okay, well, not to leave the Cub Scouts out, there is the Path to Arrow of Light. And that will also be on the same day. Amy, what have you got for us?
All right. Thank you, Eric. And kind of piggybacking on Matt Warner's Path to Eagle and Path to Arrow of Light following the Path to Eagle, we are looking at possibly hosting a series of 6 to 8 a 6 to 8 week series of meetings that will assist any potential Arrow of Light candidates who are parts of units that are not necessarily active and might need help completing those requirements, but they don't have a den per se that's active to be able to complete that stuff. Because a lot of the requirements for the Arrow of Light require that you stay active within a den and you practice a patrol method for a month. And there's a series of things that have to happen, within that grouping. And so to try and assist those people that need help, we are proposing this series of classes. So tonight, what we'd like to do is we would just like to take a poll to see what kind of interest there is. If there are people out there that might be interested in participating in this series of classes, it would be necessary for you to commit to the entire series. It's not necessarily a drop in and pop out kind of thing, because you are going to be grouping together as a den / patrol to work through those requirements. But we know not all packs are super active right now, and you guys have voiced your concerns and stated that you needed some assistance and some help with getting these requirements done. So if you think it would be helpful, please go ahead and answer our poll and say yes. That way we can kind of frame it and find out if we can be of assistance. So we'll leave that poll open for just a minute. And it would be great to kind of have, we'll have some more information on this series of classes when Matt Warner does the Path to Arrow of Light on January 9th. So we'll leave that open for just a second longer. I do see right now, I see about 8 people that say yes, that would be helpful, and that's great, because that's almost the perfect number that we would need to do this series. We can even expand it. We can expand it larger than that, but 8 is kind of a sweet number to start with. And then I see 14, 15 say it's not needed. Maybe you might need some other help, and we'll have some other avenues for you to participate in some drop-in, drop-out kind of activities too. But this is specifically for a series to get them through all those requirements for the Arrow of Light.
Great. Yeah, and I'm sure that things that come out of this series can also be distributed out to the other packs to let them know about ways that they can help with the path to Arrow of Light.
Right, absolutely. And if you guys are interested in just knowing what that structure looks like, we'd be happy to share that with you too, so that you can apply that to your dens at your pack level.
Great. So we are asking also for everybody that's involved in scouting to distribute this information that you are receiving tonight to other people that you know in other units, in other packs, in other troops. We need to get this information out, and the more ways that we can do that, the better. If there's any questions, the Scout office staff is available to answer questions, and also your hub of information is always going to be the Long Beach BSA website. Okay, thank you.
All right, over to you.
Great. Well, Webelos to Scouts.
Hey, Eric, I'm just gonna chime in right here real quick.
Yes.
This is Mark here, and I just wanted to just do one other poll.
Okay.
And ask our Cub Scout leaders, as it was mentioned in the chat here. This is admittedly, skewed towards Cub Scout leaders. But in addition to the Path to Arrow of Light class that we're thinking about doing, we also want to know from our Cub Scout leaders if virtual den meetings would be helpful. So let me just put this out there, leave it open for about 45 seconds, and then we'll go on to the next slide. So the question for everybody, for our Cub Scout leaders out there, is would it be helpful to have instructor-led virtual den meetings? And again, this is admittedly for our Cubs, but it would help us to determine what direction we want to go and what services we can provide to our Cub Scouts.
Mm-hmm.
So far, it looks like that they would be helpful. So that's helpful for us to know that we can start putting these together. On the slide that you see there on the screen, we do have a couple of screenshots of what these virtual den meetings might look like. So we do know that some PACs are already doing this, which is outstanding. And we just realized that not every PAC and not every den has the capacity with so many constraints on den leaders' time. So overwhelmingly, it looks like about 80% of respondents say that it would be helpful. So thank you for that. Thank you for the responses, and we'll come up with a plan accordingly for the next couple months.
Yeah, and it's kind of like bringing in a featured speaker for the night, and you don't have to actually prepare for the meeting syllabus. So, yeah, Mark, is the idea here that these are pre-recorded or pre-made, or these live type of virtual?
I think they would be live. We could do asynchronous too. I mean, I think both options have merit to it.
Mm-hmm. Okay. Very good. Okay, I want to bring up Bob Cawley next to talk about our Webelos West Fair. Oh, let's get Bob to take off his.
There we go. Take off the mute.
All right.
My wife would
help a lot.
Anyway, thank you, and welcome to everybody. It's good to see you. It's good to see anyone. About a month or a month and a half ago, we started putting plans together for a walking West Fair, heading down Arbor between Clark and Woodruff, utilizing many of our chartered partners' venues. There were lots of units meet along Arbor, and then inviting units that aren't on Arbor to come in and share some of these properties, and give the Webelos an opportunity to walk from troop to troop to troop and visit. And that's probably become impossible at this point. So Rosa and John and I next week will be working on a new plan. I'm sure it's going to become totally virtual. If as we get closer, there's a way to open it up, I'm going to try and pivot. But that's the best I can tell you at this point. But we are planning on having something, probably will be virtual. In some ways, we'll set it up so that the Webelos can meet with the various troops that they're interested in. And we'll be hosting.
So Bob, do you want to tell them? Yeah, you want to tell our viewers maybe a little bit who might be newer that what is a West Fair? What is?
Okay, so the West Fair is an opportunity for Webelos to come in, and their parents to come in and visit various scout troops, learn what they're all about, what kind of adventures they go on, meet some of the scouts, meet some of the leaders, hopefully find a troop that they're comfortable with, and find at least 3 troops that they'll go visit. Kind of hard to do this year, but if we can do that virtually, as you guys have mentioned, most of our scout troops, or many of our scout troops, are meeting virtually, and the Cubs would be invited to zoom in with the troops and get to know them, see how a meeting goes, see where they fit in and where they feel comfortable and where they might want to wind up when they cross over. So that's what a West Fair typically is. Typically it's held in person. We were hoping to do kind of that this year, or this coming year, but doesn't seem likely. So we will put a virtual plan together.
So so the idea is to get a lot of troops together all at the same time or in the same space to for the up and coming Cub Scouts to learn about all the different troops at the same time and get a little featurette, a little introduction of each one of those troops all at the same time, rather than to try to reach out to each individual troop on their own. So it's a great venue to do that, whether it's virtual or in person.
You can consider it to be a mini Scoutorama. just focused on the scouts.
Yeah, there you go. Okay. And Bob, I think I'm going to have you stay on for the next one. What is this big recognition event that we're planning?
Well, we need to have some fun, Eric. Don't you agree?
I would agree to that. I think there's a lot of people that did a lot of good things this year. We need to recognize them.
Everybody needs to feel that we care about what they do. We need to honor them, say thank you. Lots of people. We have Silver Beavers. We have Eagle Scouts, a big class of Eagle Scouts that we need to welcome and say good job to. We've got District Award of Merit winners. We have people that have earned their training knots. We have unit appreciation award folks from each unit. All these people need to be noticed. Hard to do when we can't get together. So in March, we are going to attempt to do a drive-in event, something that we've never done before, kind of like the concerts in the cars that you may have gone to or you may have heard of. We're looking at getting a very large parking lot, inviting everybody to come out in their car. We're going to have a stage. We're looking at some video crews going around shooting videos of the people out in the parking lot, going up on the screen. We're going to try to have it very efficient because people are going to be kind of trapped in their car, but we're not going to keep you trapped in your car because that's where the fun comes in. Every 15 or 20 minutes or so, we're going to have an activity that will get folks out of their car. Scout fire drill, something like the hokey pokey. Who's done the limbo lately? Been a long time since we've done the limbo. So expect about every 15 or 20 minutes to have a fun interruption. It's going to give everybody an opportunity to get out and see each other in uniform, to know that we're still a warm community. We care about each other. We're going to get to see each other for a while. We're going to get to honor and say thank you to those that have been leading the way in the last year and have done over and above the job. So that's what we're going to do. And it's going to be a spectacular and fun event, but it's going to be very different. 1 year only, so everybody's got to come out.
All right. Reserve the date, everybody. March 20th. Chris Sherarian, our Pinewood Derby guru. Are you there?
I am
Talk
here.
to us about next year's Pinewood Derby.
Well, next year's Pinewood Derby, but here's the funny thing. It's almost here, right? We say next year, but the reality is that we're talking about April for doing our Pinewood Derby. But you know what that means? If we're talking about doing it in April, that means that our Cub Scouts and our Cub Scout units really need to start thinking about preparing right now. So don't wait, because last year, a few months ago when we did it, there were a bunch of parents that reached out to me like the day of our finals race and said, hey, we didn't know about the race. Can you please, can we drop the car off, or can you do another race? And, I unfortunately had to say no. We were done at that point. So preparation is key here. And to help you prepare, like we did this last time, we will be hosting an opportunity for you to bring your uncut car to the Scout office, drop it off in a box. We'll pick it up. The Pinewood Derby team will pick that up and cut it for you and have it right back to the Scout shop a week later. So hopefully that can help you out a little bit with the process, since we're kind of under COVID and not everyone has the opportunity to cut their own car. So we're going to offer that service again this year. But for any Scouts that are part of a unit, and maybe that unit isn't active, or they're not going to be participating in a Pinewood Derby, we are going to make sure that you can also race your car. We're going to have a group that we race together of Scouts that maybe are part of different units where their unit really isn't racing, but they still want to participate in the race. So that's not going to stop anyone from participating in the race this year. So I want to make sure that everyone knows that. But I'd love to encourage all of our units to participate. We will be happy to race your unit's cars again, like we did this last time. So I'd be remiss if I didn't mention that the Scout shop has, I think, 60 cars in stock. So we're going to get more as we need them. But if you want to get started on it right now, we have cars in stock. So go grab your car, Sandy would happily sell you a car or 20 cars for unit right now. Get rolling in January or February with your Scout race, or at least building those cars. Let us know right away that you'd like us to race your cars for you in your unit. And then on the 17th, we'll do that. And on the 24th, we're going to have our championship, just like we did last year. We split it among 2 weekends.
Yeah, we
so there you
did prove
go.
that it was successful during COVID. We can actually do a Pinewood Derby virtually.
We could do it.
It worked. It worked. And so we'll be back again to do it again as well. If you are a big unit and you want to hold your own Pinewood Derby, we might be able to make arrangements for that as well. Maybe bring out our the equipment that we need to. I think we still have some cleanup activity from last year's or from this year's Pinewood Derby. I think there are still some Pinewood Derby cars we need to get back, and as well as some awards and patches to pass out, right?
Yeah, I think, Mark,
right,
I think you mentioned that there were a couple that we still needed to get back. So please pick those up. Although we love holding on to them because they're awesome cars and awards, please pick them up. We'd love for you to get them out of the office. And, I just want to make sure I'm going to reiterate this. There will not be any scout that wants to race a car not able to. That's what I want to get across. And I also should mention that you got to be a registered scout to do that. So make sure you get on your recharter and you're still rechartering and part of scouting for this coming year.
Okay, fantastic. That was a lot of fun. Next up is our Family Adventure Day. Bob, tell us about what's planned.
So this is part two. There was a surprise hit last year, so it's going to be returning. Most of the popular activities, I think, will be returning, especially the donut stops. I think that those are going to be coming back. But we're going to offer some new venues. Who's been on the replacement bridge between Long Beach and Terminal Island? I haven't. So we're gonna go over the bridge. We're gonna go over the Vincent Thomas Bridge. We're gonna go into San Pedro, just outside our borders, but not too far. The Korean Friendship Bell is there. Also the tide pools at Cabrillo. So we'll be doing those kinds of things. The Rosie the Riveter Park had been mentioned quite a bit last year in the survey following the event. So we'll probably be adding Rosie the Riveter Park. And I'm going to add Excelsior High School, which is important for a couple of reasons. A lot of movies have been shot there, including the movie Grease. It was the oldest high school in that particular part of the council area. Back in the day, if you lived in the Lakewood area or Bellflower area, you went to Excelsior High School. And probably most important and most germane to our council, if it wasn't for Excelsior High School, Mark Bonner wouldn't be here because his grandparents met there. So we might be going to high school. And we'll be throwing in a few others as well.
And that's historic.
That's very historic. So look forward to some fun and some excitement and eat a donut.
And it gets you out of your house. Very good. Yeah, there ask questions about and suggestions about where else to go. Say, for instance, to Queen Mary or Boeing.
Yeah, I'm looking at them right now. I'm going to write them all down. If anybody want to throw out some ideas in the chat room, I'll be monitoring it.
All right, sounds good. And if you have any connections to those places or anything that we might be able to offer, it's an added feature, all the better. Okay, a little sooner in the timeline, Winter Tech Camp. So as you have spring camps and summer camps for merit badges and such, we have a Winter Tech Camp coming up. This is where there's an opportunity to earn some merit badges. And these are some really, really interesting ones. December 28th, 29th, and 30th. That is during your holiday break. So you're not going to be having the kids won't be having school at the time. You can RSVP online through the CBase webpage. There are 4 different merit badges: your programming, electricity, digital technology, and veterinary medicine. So pick your pleasure there. Okay, you can do all 4 if you'd like, and hosted by our sea base staff. Okay, very good. Next up, this is a brand new feature for us. We got into a partnership with the Aquarium of the Pacific, and in January 2021, the Aquarium of the Pacific will be offering and working with us to for an Oceanography merit badge. What better place than the Long Beach area to have a merit badge done through the Aquarium of the Pacific? It's perfect. 2 sessions, January 14th, and a week later, a week later, on the 21st. You can register soon. And they'll be going over all the different various requirements for oceanography. Okay. Well, I'm sure a lot of your units are busy trying to finish up their renewals, or have just finished submitting their renewals for next year, collecting your dues and filling out your paperwork, collecting all of your youth protection certificates and all the rest. This is deadline time. For those units that have not finished up, please finish up as soon as you can. We have 11 different units that have already are done with it. They've 14 that have submitted, 25 that are in process, and we're still trying to reach out to about 17 others to keep them on board and renewed. Some of the troops that are not renewing this year may be on a little bit of a hiatus, but we want to make sure that the scouts that are interested in continuing are going to register with another unit if that's the case. Next week is the last chance that you have to renew and get your information in to our scout office. The 18th is the last day that they will be open to, that the office itself will be open. Okay. Drop the packet in the office mailbox, keeping it socially distanced, on the 37th Street frontage. And then if you have any questions, please feel free to call or email Sandy or Mark at the office, and they can wave to you through the window. Okay. All right. Speaking of the office, the scout office and shops will be open the remainder of this week or tomorrow, as well as next week. There's only 6 days left. Now, if you want to get a purchase in for the scout shop, please support our local Long Beach area shop. If at all possible, you also have the online scout shop, but if you can get it in person, you can swing by and pick those up with curbside pickup. Staff is available to do that up until the 18th. I really encourage you to put those scout gifts under the Christmas tree or under the menorah this year. Staff will be available for phone calls on the week of, or the 21st, 22nd, and 23rd. But don't disturb them until after the new year after that. This office will reopen again on January 4th. So, want to wish, if we have any questions, then now is the time to bring them out. And
hey, Eric, this is Mark. I'm going to jump in here.
Yes, please.
And I just wanted to answer a question that I saw come up here. I think there were 2 questions on how to sign up for the Oceanography Merit Badge. And the answer is it will be in our Thursday email and posted on Facebook. The registration is just not up yet. So
stay tuned.
So stay tuned. You don't panic. You haven't missed anything. But I will say that this is a phenomenal partnership with the aquarium, and it's first come, first served. So as soon as you get that email, as soon as you see that Facebook post, I would really encourage you to sign up. There was another question, John Fullerton, if you're there, maybe you could address when we were starting out a question about this upcoming summer season.
Sure. So, we are planning on running summer camp. It may be a modified summer camp with a concentric circle model. The real holdup is that right now we're closed because we are permitted as a resident camp, and of course the state has closed down all campgrounds right now. But even so, we're permitted. Since we're permitted as a resident camp, they really don't want us operating. Currently, the state has yet to release standards relating to resident camp. And so that puts all of us who run these types of camps in the same boat. So we're trying to put some pressure on the state. And there's in fact, if you want to, you can write a letter to your state assembly person or state senator and say, hey, look, we really want to go to summer camp this next year, and at least release the guidelines so we know what we're planning to. Right now, we're just using the CDC guidelines that were developed in consultation with the American Camp Association, and that's where the concept of the concentric circles comes in. So we are intent on operating summer camp. In fact, just today, letters went out to tribesmen and other prospective staff for interviews coming up, and we're looking forward to having a great, successful year. We think that there's going to be a lot of pent up, I think pent up demand, and this year, too, we're going to have quite a bit of campership funds available to us, because the Press Telegram campership funds, they raised money this year and they're holding on to it for next year. They're going to run the campaign then again in 2021, as well as we have some other donations that we weren't able to use for this year that we're going to be rolling over. So if you have kids that want to go to the sea base or want to go to Camp Talkwitz, do not let them not go because they can't afford it, because we're going to have plenty of money to make sure that every kid gets a summer camp experience this year.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know, John and Gail, if that answered your questions or not.
Excellent. And I'm sure as soon as things start releasing themselves to in-person gatherings, we will be pivoting and doing as much as we can with regard to that. So if you have a question live, you can raise your hand, or if you have something to share.
Yeah, can I have either Mark or John call me and let me know regarding what we want to do about commissioners? Do we want to start lining some up for tentative positions, or do we still want to wait for a while?
Just to answer that question, I think let's start lining people up. I think I think that we are. I think that we need to be full steam ahead as far as summer camp goes. I think that just there's so many right now. There's so many articles and that I've been reading about just also the mental health aspect to this whole pandemic. We need to as quickly as we can and do it safely. Be able to get people together, get them outdoors, get them active, and get them back scouting. And so, we're going to do whatever we can humanly possible to hold summer camp. And like I said, we're not alone in this. The YMCA, the Girl Scouts, Campfire, all of the private youth camps, the American Camp Association. In fact, I just got an email today about when I mentioned the letter about, hey, we need to keep the pressure on and keep writing in to get these going. And so, I anticipate that as the the vaccines become more readily available, I think hopefully as more and more pharmaceutical companies get their vaccines approved, that we're going to see vaccinations accelerate. And I think that timeline is going to get moved up, not much, but I really anticipate that, second quarter, late second quarter, that we're going to break this log jam. But I think that we're going to be in this mode at least through well into the second quarter. So that's why we've developed the program that we have as it stands.
Two things
that's our marketing ploy.
I will need the weeks that we're going to be open, and I will need to know how many commissioners you want per week.
Okay,
those two things
I get that to you, John.
Thank you so much.
All right, very good. Scouting, the therapy for COVID. There you go. That's our marketing ploy.
Exactly.
All right. Well, it's great to see all of those shiny faces here staring into the void of the internet. I hope everyone is well. I hope everyone has a fantastic personal holiday season. I know we can't all meet together, and a lot of us can't even meet as families. I know I have a lot of family that are going to be celebrating on their own, and so I pray for all of you. Hope you all have a great holiday season, and we'll see you on various Zoom calls. Okay.
Thanks, everyone.
Thank you all.
Happy holidays, everyone.